Hello, and welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 62, the Hot Pod for short, by the way. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm here, of course, with my two co-hosts, Steve and Schwim. Little Steve, that is. We are brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Sam Wu, and you can find us on Twitter.
I get an adjective, and you don't.
That is true.
I don't want an adjective.
How about just dirty Uncle Schwim?
Yeah, well, a.k.a.
Kurt, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Please leave us a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Boys, what are we drinking?
I am drinking a beer from the Athletic Brewing Company called Upside Dawn. It is a golden ale, and the Athletic. Yeah, well, not the Athletic Brewing Company. It's called. And here's the kicker. Since we aren't biased on this podcast with our beer, obviously, if anybody caught the Power Hour, this beer is non-alcoholic. Contains less than 0.5% alcohol.
Basically non-alcoholic.
Tastes pretty good?
No, it's categorically non-alcoholic.
Yes. Objectively non-alcoholic.
It's actually, you know what, I gotta say, this company...
Actually, I taste that too. It's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. And 2% of all sales go to restoring local trails. So they're big on the environment. A lot of their ingredients are organic. Very cool brewery. They do promote themselves as vegan, which, you know, I've said in the past it's very easy to do that because just about every beer is. But the fact that they do it is pretty cool. And yeah, it's non-alcoholic. I've been drinking it in between hockey games because, you know, beer league, you got to drink beer. And I'm not really cool about... well, first of all, I'm useless playing buzzed or drunk, which is even worse. But it helps the next day waking up for work. So anything by Athletic, very good. This one is also pretty tasty.
Not bad. Shrimp?
My beer, on the other hand, is not good off the start. It's by Beer Tree, which is in Port Crane, New York. 7.3 alcohol. It's a blueberry mallow graham cracker fruited sour. I don't know. It sounded good, and I think I had one of these the other week by the same company. It was actually pretty good. This
Did you get that at?
It's not good. Yeah, we went to Warwick. I am, however, not good at hockey, sober or drunk. So
it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter if I drink or not. Maybe I should do it. Maybe I should just start drinking heavily before each game.
Yeah, we should just be drunk the whole time
and see. Yeah, and see if that helps.
Take Tommy's advice and try out his vape.
Oh, his vape pen? I don't know.
or just don't play hockey. I mean, that might be a good idea too for me and you.
Or that.
Marty, 2 beers max before the game. Yeah, stick to that plan, Marty. 2 beers max. We know what happens if there's more.
I'm going to go 2.5 next game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have by Energy City, which is in Itasca, Illinois. That's a cat. I have Bistro Grande, which is a mango banana pineapple smoothie. It's a flavored Berliner style Weiss beer. It's pretty good.
Pretty.
That's a cat eye. All right, boys. So a lot of stuff on the table. Let's get to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. Do we want to go free agency first? Do we want to go all the trades? Do we want to go the drafts? What do you want to start?
Oh boy, start with I guess we can start with the draft and we don't have to go one by one, but just kind of general.
Yeah. So Seattle has a team, right? I know we kind of talked about it on the combined podcast with Let's Go Devils at the lovely restaurant in. Why am I forgetting the name? No, I apologize. Enzo's. Thank you.
Enzo's.
In Hackettstown. It was fantastic. We had a great time with both Nick Villano and Shorts Guy and Beer Baron and Sam, and everything was fantastic. We really appreciate it once again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, DJ Shelley coming out, all the fans that came and watched, and we really appreciate all the love. It was really awesome. We had a good time. We covered the draft. It was fun in some parts, not fun in other parts. We'll get to that. But as we said, Seattle has a team, and it sucks. Notable names are, from the draft, right? Giordano, Eberle, Tanev,
That's
Larson.
probably the best assessment of the team I've heard yet.
Alexiak, Gord, Drieger. could have taken names like Tarasenko, Price, Domi. They drafted defenseman Gavin Bayreuther, who they lost. Instead of
and they traded
Max
what's
Domi.
his name from LA, whatever. I can't remember.
McDermott or whatever his name
Washington. McDermott. Yeah, true.
No, Vanacek.
Yeah, sorry. They could have had
three players are gone.
Yeah,
one for nothing.
Johansson or Duchesne. They could have had Voracek, JVR, Zucker, Henrique. The goalies are, Drieger, Vanacek. It was Vanacek. Now it is going to be Philip Grubauer. We'll get to that in a little bit. And Joey Decord. They also added the Fleury brothers, Vince Dunn, Morgan Geekie over Jake Bean, which was crazy, and then McCann over Kerfoot. So I have.
I'm fine with that though.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. McCann over Kerfoot. But so I have the team comparisons between Vegas Golden Knights when they made the draft and your Seattle Kraken, right? So the top
Brett's Seattle Kraken.
So, forwards, you had Jared McCann, Eberle, Donskoy, Gord, Jan Kruk, Tanev, Appleton, Blackwell, Pitlick, and it just gets worse from there, right? Morgan Geekie. On the other team, James Neal was the best forward at the time. He had a 2.1 goals, versus the average. 2.1. The highest guy in Seattle is 1.7. You had Riley Smith, David Perron, you had Marcia So, you had Eric Holla, and then it kind of gets bad from there as well. William Karlsson was actually really bad when he first got there, and he turned out to be a very good player. Same thing with Alex Tuck. Their defense, Colin Miller, Van Riemsdyk, Nate Schmidt was there. You had Shea Theodore, who just came over. He eventually would turn into an all-star. Mark Mathot. This team, Giordano, right, former Norris Trophy winner. Now, maybe not so much that same player. Alexiak and Adam Larson. And then your goalies, right, Drieger, Vanacek, Decord versus Marc-Andre Fleury and Calvin Pickard. So, just looking at the teams, you can clearly see that Seattle, Vegas did make a lot more trades. They had 10 trades in total. Seattle their entire top to bottom roster just doesn't add up. And, teams were ready for them this time around.
Well, they drafted that team on purpose. That's who they scouted and that's who they chose. There were no side dealings about, like we saw with Vegas where we'll give you this pick, we'll give you this draft pick, we'll give you this player, whatever, to pick this person off of our roster just so they can protect extra players, which we saw a lot of with Vegas. After this expansion draft, which was, opinions aside on how ridiculous it kind of was, and all of the picks were leaked anyway, there were no side dealings. And when they announced all of it, I expected, they said that afterwards that Francis was going to announce any potential trades. There was nothing. They went into this expansion draft, and that's the team that they wanted. And I still don't understand where they're going with it. And the fact that they've traded 2 already and lost 1 for nothing to free agency is just, for the life of me, I don't get it. I know, they saved some cap space to make some signings, which they did today, which were,
which is better.
Pretty decent. Yeah, it definitely added to the team.
Signed.
But they still have a lot of cap space left because they left about $30 million on the table when they did their expansion draft. I guess there's still some free agents out there, potential trades. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Tom just dropping a trade. Darcy Kemper to Colorado for a first and Connor Timmins.
Damn.
Yeah, since obviously we know that without getting too much into free agency, we know Grubauer bolted after the big Landeskog signing, basically at the last minute there for Colorado. But yeah, no, back to Seattle. I don't get it. I guess we'll see what they look like on day one. Maybe they'll look a little bit better than the nonsense that they have now. But
I think they will. I think they'll look different. I think there's maybe more trades to come, but I think they're going to sign some more people. The people they signed today definitely are improvement over for the whole outlook of the team. They signed. We don't want to get too much into it, but signed a really good goalie. A couple.
Jaden
Schwartz and Wenberg is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not done. They're gonna still go after some more people, I think. So I think the team will look a little different come opening night. And you know what? I hope they smoke Vegas opening night.
Yeah.
Yeah. we'll get into Vegas. Our opinions on Vegas.
Yeah, we don't like them over here anymore.
No, not
Sorry,
anymore.
Brett.
So Francis says the teams were ready, and let's try. Francis says teams were ready this time and didn't want to pay up. If that's the case, he should have bent a little with his asking prices. Apparently, he had a first and a third to not take players. Also, then take the big assets like Tarasenko and trade those guys. I thought that would have been a good thing to do. According to Francis, they went after character and physicality, not talent. I mean, you're not going to win hockey games that way.
That's obvious.
They did not announce any side deals at the draft. Well, Vegas had 10, like I said before. The only trade they did have at the beginning was Pitlick to the Flames for 4th-round pick. All right, so Kraken give Alexiak 5 years, 4.6. They signed him, and that was Dallas's pick. They then signed Adam Larson 4x4. That was obviously Edmonton's pick.
I think those
and
are both fine.
Drieger from Florida, 3 years, 3.5.
That's also fine.
Quickly on this, the NHL media is a joke. Someone obviously leaks all the picks on Tuesday night and ruined the Seattle unveiling, which would have been fun to see. Not that anyone good was picked, but still, to have players come off, and walk down the aisle and you say, oh, hey, Jordan Eberle, or, hey, there's Drieger. But, obviously NHL media just couldn't, get their heads out of their asses.
I am personally grateful.
Because you didn't want to watch it in the first place.
Because if those picks are what the surprise was, that it would be horrible television. It was horrible television regardless, but it'd be even worse if you just actually, were anticipating who these picks were going to be, and even the best of hockey fan is who?
Yeah. It's really bad. No, it's really bad. Like you look at this team and it's upsetting. If you were a fan, I'd be like, what exactly are we doing here? What's the point of having this team right now? I don't know. For some reason, my thing is very behind. Kraken have roughly $30 million in cap space. So then we got into trades, right? So there were trades before the draft. There were trades, the expansion draft, and there are also trades after. Gostisbehere, a 2nd-round pick and a 7th go to the Coyotes for nothing. Let me repeat this: nothing.
No, Philly considerations.
Future consideration, which is basically a bag of pucks or a Starbucks coffee.
Nothing.
I wonder if they literally send pucks over there. That would be awesome.
I doubt it.
That would be pretty cool. So there was that fantastic move. Then Flyers, they talked about it. All they wanted was character guys. They also add Ristolainen for Hag, a 1st and a 2nd. They had, Ryan Ellis from before. We talked about that last week. Ristolainen getting a 1st and a 2nd, and then a decent forward player in Hag. I mean, good for Buffalo. They finally get a win. And there was that meme I posted with, it had a banner dropping from Buffalo, and it said, "We won this trade." Pretty good. In another dumb move, the Canes send Rookie of the Year nominee Alex Nedeljkovic to the Red Wings for UFA Jonathan Bernier and a 3rd-round pick. Yzerman once again strikes again. He signs him for 2 years, $3 million per. Yeah. No, he signed him 2 years, 3 per.
No, I'm talking about.
Bernier. Yeah, I got you. Sorry.
No.
Bernier obviously then goes to the Devils, but another move where the Canes, they say they're not being cheap, but then and I know it was a small sample size, but you could see that this kid was growing into something. Wouldn't you want to maybe even RFA 1 year, just kind of bridge him? I don't know what they're doing over there. Instead, they go after who they got. They got Ronta and
Anderson.
Who's the other goaltender?
Yeah.
Anderson,
And,
Freddie Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, a decent 1-2 combo, but you figured youth you would have went for. But so do we want to go to – all right, so we'll go to the bullshit. Rangers shipping Pavel Buchnevich to the Blues for Sammy Blais and a 2nd-round pick.
Great trade. Fantastic trade.
Just fantastic trade. And here's where Bill Ledeen gets very angry, because the whole point of this trade, right, is to get cap so that you can go and make a big splash, get a first top-line center or even a second-line center of some ilk. And I guess Chris Drury, like I said to you before, is shining his rings, and Glenn Sather's napping somewhere, and they totally missed a free agent window. Not that there was someone I really wanted, like Dano. If I'd gotten him for $5 million, okay, maybe that would have been decent. But they ship out a top 6 forward in Pavel Buchnevich. Steve can say all he wants about how, I know he doesn't he doesn't think he thinks we value him over too much. But we had a guy that played
the
top
slight
minutes,
homerism
played
to
power play, was a very good defensive forward this year, and you ship him for a second-round pick and a fourth-line forward. And just asset management is what you look for in a team, and how they can turn their scraps. Not that he's a scrap, but they're pieces that need to ship off into something better, and they don't do that, and they just totally bit the bullet here, and I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know. You guys think that was anywhere close to a fair deal?
I mean, no, because it was pure salary dump. Even though Buchnevich wasn't currently signed, I guess the Rangers were already settling on the fact that they're not going to be able to afford him in the grand scheme of things. Which, maybe they could have if they kind of figured out their roster a little bit differently. But unfortunately, that's the reality of this. They have a lot of very talented youth, and eventually their entry-level contracts run out. And some of these guys have a lot faster development than others, so that first contract is going to look like something that Buchnevich is getting. And maybe it's a little too much money. We'll see how he continues to develop. I know he's developing well, and he's a very effective, he's good and a good forward. I don't know if he's necessarily was a shade under 6, right? $6 million. Jake Gensel's making $6 million. He's a 40-goal scorer, so I mean, either Gensel is a massive bargain or it's a slight overpayment. But I think it's probably about average about what he should be making. But I don't, to be honest, if the Rangers gave him that contract, I mean, they're going to be in a lot of trouble trying to sign their own guys, let alone add pieces.
I wasn't so mad about them giving if they had not given him the contract. It's just they could have gotten so much more from him. And if this was his market, then all right, I guess that's what it is now. But you can't tell me that you would have rather had taken him into next season and then at the trade deadline ship him off for probably at least a first. That's usually what these guys go for. The trade deadline.
I would probably rather do that. Yeah.
The Rangers.
Eventually they're going to have to trade him, and I guess they just decided to do it now. And they didn't get a great return for it. They probably would have gotten a better return for it at the deadline, to be honest with you. But this is. I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of what Drury's doing either. I don't like the Goodrow contract at all. To be honest with you, it's not the worst of contracts, but it's not great. And so far, I feel your frustration, and I can
sympathize. How bad it is. The Rangers gave up more assets to deal Mark Stahl to Detroit than what they got back for Pavel Buchnevich.
Who they re-signed, by the way.
Yeah, 1 year, $2 million. Fucking Rangers.
Hey,
I'm sorry for the F-bomb. This is just bullshit.
You can always add in a bleep, can't you?
Yeah.
Where's Sam with the bleeps?
We need to be on a delay so we can add in bleeps.
Vegas then ships, and another dumb move. Basically, what was it, Tuesday? Or no, not Tuesday. Yeah, no, it was
It was
the
draft.
It was before the draft.
Friday. Yeah.
Basically,
it was
all
just
these dumb
nonsense
trades
by GMs all over the place.
Yeah, GMs. One had to outdo the other one in terms of just moronic
stupidity.
Vegas ships Marc-Andre Fleury to Chicago for a forward prospect, who then just stays back in Chicago's minor leagues, which is amazing to me.
Does Vegas not have a?
I don't know.
A minor league affiliate right now?
I thought they do. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm pretty sure they do.
I would assume so, right? Everybody sends somebody to them, unless they're, I don't know. Unless they're sharing, they share the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Pretty sure
that's something for Tommy to find out.
Yeah, Tom, guy behind the chair.
Behind the
who
chair.
knows what Mark on? Yeah. Who knows what Fleury's going to do? They're talking about him retiring. Maybe he gets shipped to another team.
I mean, I have what I would like to happen.
You want him to come back to Pittsburgh?
I would love him to come back to Pittsburgh.
That would be awesome.
Since we're going to be talking about free agency, and obviously Pittsburgh's goaltending needs addressing. I know Ron Hextall had said that he would most likely go after a goalie via trade rather than free agency, and the goalies have all been basically swooped up right now. So, free agency is no longer an option for an upgrade. So, trade's going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, do we want to get into this trade? You know, this how Vegas handled this Fleury trade.
It's a slap in the face, basically. This trade.
I mean, it's just so Marc-Andre Fleury. So the trade. So when all of the rumblings about having to trade a goalie happened, I guess I forget how the process works, but Fleury has a 10-team no-trade list, which he has to submit. I think anybody with that has to submit it at some point. And Chicago was not on that list. So they basically took that as, okay, we're just going to Chicago isn't on the list, and they're going to take your entire salary. Apparently, they didn't get like the official trade call, but the trade was already like official, I guess, so to speak. So it was posted on social media. Marc-Andre Fleury found out on social media. In fact, his agent even tweeted about how he found out on social media, and at that point, he still hadn't heard from anybody in the Vegas organization that he was being traded. And previously to being traded, he was told by ownership that they love him. He's the face of the franchise. He's going to be a Golden Knight until at least the end of his contract. And then this. I mean, he was completely blindsided by this. And I heard Kevin Weeks talking about how he called Fleury after the trade happened to see how things were going. And Fleury's he's not handling it well. He was told something, and his family is there. He has a young family that he did not want to uproot. I mean, there was talks about him even retiring in Vegas because he didn't want to play. He just didn't want to go anywhere else. And he's a big family guy. And now he's blindsided traded to Chicago, and an opportunity for him to be the bona fide starter without a doubt. But he things are more important to him than that. And I know that he has expressed interest in coming back and retiring as a Penguin. I don't know if I know if Rutherford was still there, I mean, he's pushing to get Fleury like yesterday. I don't know what ownership is going to do. Chicago, obviously part of that contract, in theory, would have to be eaten unless Pittsburgh's able to unload contracts like Marcus Pettersson or Jason Zucker or something like that to fit it under.
You think they're trading, like, say he gets traded to Pittsburgh, do you think they're trading Jarry back to
I don't know
Chicago
necessarily, but I think that would be good if they were able to ship Jarry off. I know that there was actually one of the Buffalo Sabres beat writers actually had mentioned that Buffalo could be like the middleman and actually take half of Fleury's contract, and then in that trade, because they'd be like the middleman in the trade, eat the contract. Jarry would go to Buffalo, who sort of kind of needs a goalie, so they can take a chance on Jarry in that. So these are just theories about what could possibly happen. I, for one, as a fan, would love it. I know there's some fans that don't want it because they remember how he played for us in the playoffs. But again, I think he's proven he just won the Vezina. I don't know how you can say that this guy is washed up. I have no idea. He literally just won the Vezina trophy on a very good team, yes, but he's still very capable, and it's blatantly obvious.
Any team would want
for some reason.
Fleury.
No,
any team.
I totally agree. And as a 1A, he'd be fantastic. And I'd love him on the Rangers, backing up Igor Shesterkin and teaching him how to, really become a pro.
Backing up Shesterkin.
He's not he can be a backup.
Well, yeah, he's not.
This he's a starter. He has to go to a team to be a starter.
If he did 50 and 32, right, or whatever. If he did, 45 and what do you mean? 50 and 32 is 82 games.
Oh, games. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, 60-40. He should be a 60-40 guy. 60% to 40%.
Oh, I was giving the 50 games to Shesterkin because he's younger. But
no, I mean, I don't. I mean, yeah, he's not going to the Rangers. So let's just bury that under.
My point was that
right now.
I was going to say about his playoff acumen. We've talked about this before, that he has had 3 separate times in the playoffs and in big moments where he has gotten pulled for another goaltender. So I can see why these guys are a little nervous. I mean, Penguins are a cup contending team, and you really won't have to worry. Well, no, not with Jarry. You could see that obviously. That was real bad. But I can see why fans would have a little bit of a sour taste in that they had to go twice to Matt Murray, who you can see how well he's doing in Ottawa. I'm sure they wish that Fleury was.
That being said, that being said, the first cup was because of a Marc-Andre Fleury injury. That wasn't because of a performance. That's why Matt Murray started.
Sure.
He didn't even start those playoffs. He started Game 3 against the Rangers.
Was that the year that Zatkov played?
Zatkov played Game 1 and beat the Rangers in Game 1, yeah. But then he lost Game 2, and then Matt Murray came back for Game 3, and then the rest was history.
Yeah.
With the exception that Fleury played the one game against Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then in Ottawa. But I've said that Pittsburgh doesn't win that cup without Fleury playing against Washington, without a doubt. Yes, I understand that he was replaced against Ottawa. And then Matt Murray just coasted and played very well against Nashville. But I still think that Pittsburgh doesn't win that cup, or they don't advance in those playoffs. I think it looks similar to the following year when Washington won the cup, the following year when Washington won the cup, and Matt Murray fizzled out in that against Washington. It would have been the same way, in my opinion. But no, I would gladly take him back. I think it's a major upgrade. The only other option, granted, I don't know what other options, I don't know who's available, but the only other one on the rumor mill that could potentially happen that I would probably take over Fleury at this point would be a John Gibson coming to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I would take that in a heartbeat.
The man in the chair, Tom Petrillo, somehow Mikhail Hakkarainen, he had to put the guy's name in here. Contract is still now is now owned by Vegas, but he will continue to play in Chicago. He's an ECHL guy, so he can stay within Chicago's system unless Vegas calls him up to the NHL, which he's not very good. So I don't think that's likely.
No, there's no way that's happening. Yeah.
All right, Craig Best talking about the Devils. We will get to the Devils. Don't worry, we're not talking on free agency yet, but we're going through some trades that happened previously that we have yet to discuss. Jets get Dillon from the Caps for 2 second-round picks. Strawman to the Coyotes for a 7th. Coyotes had Chalmerson retire after 14 seasons, so very good career for Nicholas Chalmerson. They also shipped Connor Garland, who got a 5-year, $24 million contract, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson for expiring contracts of Joel Eriksson, Jay Beagle, Antoine Roussel, as well as a first and second for the Vancouver Canucks. Sharks get Ryan Merkley from the Devils for Yaros, who's a defenseman. The Panthers got Sam Reinhart, who then signed a 4-year extension from Buffalo for a first-round pick, and goalie Devin Levi, who was the hero goalie for Canada during the World Junior Classic. So Devin Levi going to be Buffalo's goalie of the future, most likely. Obviously, he had very good, World Juniors. So we'll see what happens with him.
He might have to play this season.
He might. It depends on who they get.
So I don't know who the hell they're going after.
Dustin Tokarski back. There's no one left. Tom, and I can't see a goalie signing there. Why on earth would they?
Yeah, Tom, give us the best remaining goaltenders, or who in your mind are the best remaining goaltenders for JJ. Lots of moves for Columbus, right?
No one.
So,
well, Devin Dubnyk. Devin Dubnyk's still around.
Yep.
Yeah, Duber. Wasn't he in Buffalo?
Curtis McElhinney is around.
Was Dubnyk ever in Buffalo? Or is it just Edmonton?
No.
Edmonton, Arizona,
Minnesota,
and the Sharks, right? Mm-hmm.
Arizona too.
Or Colorado?
Right? Yeah.
No.
Is he briefly in Colorado?
Yeah, he was in Colorado
right?
last year. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, lots of moves for Columbus. Flyers in Columbus swap Cam Atkinson for Voracek.
No, Elliott's on Tampa. Tom.
Oh, come on, Tom.
And Riddick was traded. Riddick is somewhere else too. Yeah.
Yeah, he was traded.
He signed Nashville. I think he signed in Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
Yeah, but he was traded, right?
My God.
He was traded first.
Riddick? No,
he was signed there.
He signed in Nashville.
I thought someone traded
That's
for him.
all.
All right. Cam Atkinson for
at the deadline,
Voracek.
Toronto, right?
Columbus. Yeah, Toronto. Columbus also got Jake Bean for a second-round pick from Carolina. Their big move, they shipped Seth Jones and a first, which turned out to be Tampa Bay's pick, to Chicago for Adam Boquist, a first and a second. Jones then signs a monster deal, which he got $9.5 million per over 8 years. These moves, good for Columbus. They got pretty good value for Jones. I like Boquist a lot. The first and second, good for them. Jake Bean, I'm really a big fan of him, especially for a second round pick. And then I know they shipped out, the happy-go-lucky Cam Atkinson, but they do get Voracek back, who has played in Ohio before. What do you guys think about the Jones deal?
I didn't like the trade. The contract is just
contract's
awful.
Nuts.
Yeah, really bad. I don't know why you would give up that much for him. Columbus definitely won, but the contract is just it's absurd. I don't really, we had Drew Way on talking about Seth Jones and how he's overrated and hasn't really been very good. He's almost been declining now for a few years, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where he earned almost double the salary that what he was making. That's crazy to me, but I don't know. Chicago.
There's always teams out there that are going to be willing to pay, this amount of money for that amount of years for whatever player they think.
There had to be a contract extension before he was traded.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there were other people who were probably inquiring and probably offered something, but Chicago came over the top, and $9.5 million a year for Seth Jones is Ooh.
All right, so
playing with better offense, though. So
yeah, no, he's going to play on a better team. He's going to play with his brother. I don't know if they're going to pair together, but
I mean, the defense is still terrible, but the offense is better.
Yeah,
power play's better.
It's
so
not good. Like I said, for Columbus, it looks pretty good. For Chicago, we'll see what they got, especially if Marc-Andre Fleury is going to play there, which I don't think he will. But if he does stay there, that'd be better for them.
I hope he does.
Then the NHL draft happens. Right?
I hope he does. I want to see him. I want to see him play.
I do too, just not.
Well, I do want to see him play. Yeah. And then the NHL draft happens, right? It was a pretty, standard draft going in. We knew the first pick was going to be Owen Power goes to the Buffalo Sabres. Second overall pick. You start to see defensemen and forwards come off the boards. Then fourth overall pick. It comes around for the Devils. On the board is William Eklund as well as Luke Hughes. They go with Hughes brothers. Jack was very happy for his brother. We talked about this while it happened. I still am a believer in William Eklund, and I think that might come back to bite them, but we'll see. But, the draft continues. There were a lot of slips and falls for a lot of players. Finally, we get to pick 31. And the Montreal Canadiens are on the clock, and they take Logan Mailloux. And for those who do not know, Logan Mailloux, who played for the London Knights of the OHL, removed himself from the NHL draft after being fined by police for showing a photo to teammates via Snapchat of himself and a woman in a sex act. The photo was taken without her consent, and he was, fined by the police and, this whole big thing. And he was expected to be a third-round pick. And instead, he's taken into the first round by a team that clearly does not understand any of the ramifications that came their way, and who just clearly were not thinking and were not doing anything smart in that instance. And they let a kid who needed to really deal with things and become a better person, they rewarded him and made him a first-round pick in the NHL draft. And it's
rewarded him for...
It's amazing. And, I don't know who was talked about it, but you have him getting drafted. You have Tony DeAngelo, who is a POS, get signed by Carolina after getting bought up by the Rangers and making money there. You have Jake Virtanen, also a very good person, human being, him getting signed.
Sarcasm.
It's amazing that, the NHL, they don't, as long as you can play hockey, and which Logan Mailloux can't, by the way. He was supposed to be a third-round pick. But as long as you can play hockey, you're going to have a spot in the NHL. If Slava Voinov was allowed into the U.S., some moron team would sign him. So it's amazing. It's depressing, too.
Going back to what you said about them not even thinking. So here's the best way to look at this, because there was thinking behind it, obviously, because they literally prepared a statement before they made the pick just to explain the pick. They had a pre-made statement that they released immediately after making the pick. If you have to pre-make a statement before you pick somebody, you're probably making the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And the fact that Justin Trudeau came out and condemned this pick, the Montreal Canadiens owner today came out against this pick and said that they let the fans down. Where it goes from there, the fact that the owner is now giving that statement after Mark Bergevin is doubling down on it, on his pick. And
Bergevin is such a jackass. Because you see the whole thing. He's a part of the whole Chicago. Just utter nonsense and chaos that happened down there.
Added to his resume, right?
Yeah, and these poor guys down there who are facing repercussions. And I also saw some stuff, some rumors that his own player, these guys who were abused by the video coach or the it was a video coach. Yeah, it was video coach, right?
Yeah.
Who were abused by the video coach. Their own players were making fun of them. So those players should be expelled from the league and never allowed to play again. They're just horrible human beings. And this whole organization that they start to disband and these guys go everywhere. And Mark Bergevin then does another stupid, really unfathomable, drafting of this kid. He should be blackballed from the league. It's enough. I'm sick of this stuff. I don't want to keep hearing how NHL teams and GMs and all this other do stupid things to make the sport look bad when it needs to be raised up. It's such a good sport. It should be. I think we think, right, it should be the top sport in the U.S. It should, because it's so much fun to watch. But you have stupid things happen all the time, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I mean,
rewarding people for this nonsense
or hiding it. Why would you? Why? I don't understand how you as a human being. I mean, I don't want to if I found out one of my friends, be it you or you, Dean, did something like this, I'm sorry. I'm not hiding your BS from the world.
No.
If there's a victim involved, you got to think about the victim. At some point, the victim needs to be considered, and in this case, and the other cases that we're seeing here, they're not. And
but they're going to get him all the help he needs.
Yeah,
Montreal will be at his disposal. Not, I doubt
all
she wanted anything for.
All she wanted was a sincere apology, and he couldn't even do that.
No.
Like, that shows you the character of this kid, and this is how you grow. Also, maybe he will. Maybe he'll grow into. Maybe it was a teenage mistake, and I hope he does too. But right now, you don't. It's not like, all right, you learned your lesson. Go play in the NHL.
You're a first-round pick. Come play for the historical Montreal Canadiens.
Let him grow, and also let him mature, and then give him a chance.
All this stuff aside, why is he even being taken in the first round to begin with, based on his skill? They said he's a freaking third-round player. Why is he even being taken? This kid being taken? They think he's that good, and with this baggage that he comes with, that we're going to take him in the first round.
He was off every other team's radar.
It doesn't make any sense.
What we're told,
you waste a first-round pick on this kid. Also, I don't know what they're thinking from that standpoint. Forget about character and all that stuff. Doing that is in itself really, really stupid. But I'm just talking about his skill set and his rank and talent and everything. You're drafting this kid in the first round, end of the first round, when you could, if you really wanted him, take him in a later round. But I don't know. Everything about it is stupid.
I don't want to dwell on this crap, because although I mean we could unfortunately dedicate an entire podcast to just these scandals, which is disgusting. Yep. I hope at some point some kind of progress is made, and you don't have these
let's get to free agency
bags just continuously catering to the offender.
Tom real quickly writes, Mike Rupp said he spoke to Tony D's former teammates, and he's highly respected. So I'm sure he is. And then the Chicago Blackhawks, then they come out with this 32nd pick, and they have the 8 employees that, the women advancing hockey to announce the 2021 picks. And, a lot of people just said that they were, trying to obviously cover up their own demons and trying to, do something else, and totally took away from these ladies.
F off.
Yeah.
What that crap.
All right. So NHL schedule break for the 2022 Olympics. Another player participation is still not guaranteed. The break is scheduled for February 5th to the 22nd of 2022. So I am hoping that NHL hockey happens at the Olympics. That'd be fantastic. Some signings that happened before free agency. Ovi with that 5-year, $9.5 million contract. Cale Makar, 6 years, $9 million per year. Miro Heiskanen, 8 years, $67.6 million, 8.45 per. Seth Jones, we talked about it. Hall with the Bruins for 4x6. Mike Smith, the Edmonton Oilers make a fantastic goalie signing. 2 years,
keep fighting the good fight, Edmonton. All right. Jesus Christ.
Oh man. Paul Stastny signs with the Jets, and then, like we said, Virtanen, D'Angelo, Martin Jones. Oh, Martin Jones is available, right? Holtby and James.
He signed with
Philly. He's
signed with Philly. Yeah.
Oh, he is. He's
Martin
going
Jones,
to be the one.
They want him.
Carter Hart.
They want him to Carter Hart.
Oh my God, this is amazing
to help him.
Alain Vigneault is just the best hockey mind there is out there. But and by the way, all those all the defensive signings, those contracts, Makar, Heiskanen, Seth Jones, Dougie Hamilton today. Mm-hmm. The Rangers better get a contract to Adam Fox real fast before it starts to get into the $10 million, because it's going to happen.
Oh, it's already there.
It scares crap at me.
It's already there. I mean, he's making over $9 million. There's no avoiding him making less than $9 million.
Him winning the Norris is like that was probably one of the worst things that could happen to him.
Oh, real bad. I gotta hope that they don't sign him a contract, and next year he has one of the worst years possible, but then rebounds after that. But yeah, no, it's gonna suck.
Don't forget Landeskog.
Oh yeah, Landeskog. But that
right at the
during
buzzer,
free agency, right? Yeah. Oh, that was at the buzzer, right?
No, it was last night. Yeah, right at the buzzer.
7x7.
8 years. 8 years.
Oh yeah, 8 years.
$7 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Steve, why don't you go through the free agency tracker? What did you like, not like?
Well, I know that people want to hear about. We might as well just start with the Devils. Let's get the Devils signings. 2 big signings by the Devils. Dougie Hamilton making $9 million a year for 7 years. Oof. A lot of money for Dougie Hamilton. And I've said on the podcast plenty of times that the next step that the Devils need to make in order to become some kind of contender is to attract free agents. And I heard the analyst talking about this. When was the last time that the Devils or I think it was Ken Danico even. When was the last time the Devils made a big splash in free agency and got that big name? And Dougie Hamilton probably the biggest name on this market.
Yeah.
Highly sought after, obviously, for his skill set. Norris Trophy candidate, not this year, but in general, I think when he's healthy, he's a Norris Trophy candidate.
He was on run this year until he got hurt.
Yeah, well, he's been hurt between last year, this year, and the year before. But he's locked in for 7 years at $9 million a year. It's a big contract. I don't think the Devils are going to end up. You have PK Subban's contract coming off the books next year or after this season, I believe. So I don't think that's going to cap strap them, really. I don't think anybody that they currently have is going to demand contracts like $9-10 million unless they force them to pay them that, somebody like Jack Hughes. But right now, I don't see Jack Hughes making even close to that. I think great signing by the Devils. In fact, I think with the addition of Graves also, it's a pretty solid defensive core.
They got 3 really good big defensemen, him, Graves, and Ty Smith.
Yeah, Ty Smith. And then you had PK Subban. If he can find some semblance of his former self.
Maybe not be an idiot.
It's a solid defensive core paired with Mackenzie Blackwood now almost certainly splitting time 50-50, 60-40, whatever with injuries, with Jonathan Bernier, who is also another great
very
signing.
Reliable. I like him. I think that's a good signing.
Yeah, he
didn't they sign a forward too or no?
Can't find his number. Jonathan Bernier making a shade over $4 million a year for 2 years, which isn't not horrible. I think Mackenzie Blackwood is still on his entry level, right? So not a lot of money and caps. It's only 2 years, so you're not going to be strapped. Pretty smart. Fitzpatrick did pretty well today. I mean, that's it basically. Not bad. I don't know if there's anything, to be honest with you. I don't know if anybody else is rumored to go there. There's still some pretty decent names out there, like Brandon Saad, Kyle Palmieri if he wants to come back, Zajac obviously also, Zach Parise if he wants to come back to New Jersey, although people are saying the Islanders. Yep. However, I feel like they've been saying the Islanders, and why wouldn't he have signed by now? It's unless he's trying to see who else is available. But I don't know. I think the Devils did pretty well for the Devil fans, whoever's listening. I think they had a pretty good day today, even though it's only two signings, I believe. But not bad. I don't know if you guys agree.
No,
I wish they had Dougie Hamilton.
He was one of probably the top 1, 2, or 3 top people available, and the Devils got him. So
they did well.
Good for them. Yeah,
they also got Chase DeLeo.
It's huge for them.
Big time center for them. So Chase DeLeo, awesome 2-way contract signing.
That's That's sarcasm. If anybody didn't pick up on
sarcasm. Yeah. No, but really, honestly, they did well, and I have to give them credit for that. My cousin Michael, one of the big Devils fans, he is very happy for it. So good for him.
The fans should be happy. It's a good, it's a solid signing, and it's a big name. Great puck moving defenseman. Great on the power play. You got your power play guy. Made them. They just shipped out Will Butcher also, so for nothing. Also, just future consideration. So,
geez, that's bad.
Adios, Will Butcher.
Yeah, but he wasn't really.
He wasn't going to crack that lineup anyway.
Anything,
it's a shame. He did have that solid rookie season, then just kind of disappeared. But he's on Buffalo now, so good luck.
He can go shine in Buffalo.
All right, so. So I think I found the TSN thing that you were looking at for all the trades. I mean, all the signings. We'll just go down the names, right? Linus Ullmark goes to the Bruins, 4 years, $5 million per. Obviously, I think he's.
I'm glad too. That's a lot of money for him. I did not expect that big of a contract, to be honest with you, because I said on the podcast too. He was one of the ones I would have liked to have had in Pittsburgh. Yeah. But I mean, if
I wonder if they made a play for him. And then
maybe I'm sure they were contacting the agent to see what, but obviously they can't afford to pay Linus Ullmark $5 million a year. But that is a massive contract. Although I do like Linus.
Did you hear rumors about the Penguins in on any goalies?
Yeah. Yes. Yes and no, because it was just they need a It was basically they need a goalie, right? And they're looking at whoever the free agents are. There's Freddie Anderson, who's been rumored for basically months now, since Pittsburgh was eliminated from the playoffs, and even going back to the trade deadline, he was a rumor. So Freddie Anderson, Peter Mrazek was another one mentioned. Linus Ullmark was mentioned also. No serious analysts saying that they're in talks and they're one of the teams, but obviously they're looking for somebody. So all these goaltenders were potentially contacted. Although I don't know how serious, because finding out just a few days ago, I believe, from Ron Hextall saying he would prefer to upgrade the goaltending position via trade rather than free agency. So I didn't really expect it, to be completely honest with you. I also didn't expect the goalies to go so quickly today.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be dragged out a little bit, but they were just every 10 minutes another goalie was being signed. And it didn't matter who it was. I mean, there's still some goalies out there, but
I was going to say, I feel like this free agency was much more active on day one than I've seen it in a while.
Oh yeah, especially compared to last year. Last year was everyone was
snooze fest.
COVID was happening, and they weren't sure what was going to happen. So a lot of guys were taking it easy and not really pushing the envelope or anything. But this year they went all in.
Balls. Yeah,
it was a good one this year. I'm glad we were due for a good one.
Yeah.
Ullmark, I think that's a great signing for them.
Yeah,
I think it's crazy. The contract is
that's
not,
a lot,
not
but
great.
I think he can shine over
especially
there,
especially
being on that team. Right? He was like one of the bright spots of Buffalo last year.
He probably was the only one.
And now he's on a Boston Bruins team that's going to play a million times better in front of him. I think he could have a pretty good season next year.
Probably.
I agree. I think it's a good signing too. And that being said, Tuukka Rask is still a free agent.
Yeah.
But I was telling you, it looks like Vladar was sent to.
You got sent to Calgary. I think.
Vladar was sent to Calgary.
He
was one of the back.
Yeah.
Halak has now moved on to Vancouver.
Yep.
So
And what is Dallas doing? Dallas acquired Holtby. They have four goalies now.
You would think that they got
to trade somebody.
Well, they have four goalies, but it seems it's pretty out. Bishop won't be playing anytime soon. He's going to start the season on long-term IR. Who knows if he'll even play the season, and then that's basically a contract gone. So then you have Hudobin, Holtby, and Ottinger. But that's even too many though. You can't send. I don't think you can send Ottinger down to the minors, to be completely honest with you. So
that would be a waste if they send him down or get rid of him. That's a complete waste.
I'm sure they have plans for somebody. I doubt it's Ottinger. It's probably Hudobin. Where he goes, I don't know. But I do see Rask signing. Probably 1 year. I think I even said to you guys 1 year, maybe 3.5, something small.
Yeah.
Low term, just to kind of be there.
When is he supposed to be back? He's supposed to miss
January, February. It's a long time. Yeah, he's not going to be back until late in the second half of the season, probably.
That's going to be tough.
Right. But you sign him, throw him on long-term IR, so
Yeah, that's true.
Sean McAdoo, who I like on The Athletic, he just wrote a piece, and it was some key questions. It was one, who's going to be in the net for Avalanche. That obviously was just solved with the
Kemper, right?
Kemper trade. Thank you.
I don't see any official trade for him.
From what I saw, they gave up a first and Connor Timmins, and that is
a
really good package. That's a really good package for Avalanche. I mean, not for the Avalanche, for Phoenix. The other question was, are we going to get a Jack Eichel trade?
Not tonight. I don't think.
Who knows what's going to happen? Are the Kraken done? Obviously, they signed Wenberg, Jaden Schwartz, Philip Grubauer. I think, agreed with you. And then lastly, the Penguins. He says they're still going to get Marc-Andre Fleury. So
I hope so.
I like what
That'd be amazing.
does. So
I hope he's right.
I think so too. And I really hope. I mean, I love the guy, and who doesn't love the guy?
He needs to take a deep breath, let the dust settle. Don't make any rash decisions like, he's like, but Marc-Andre Fleury is not that kind of guy where he's going to, you should be like, I'm retiring now, I'm so upset, or something like that. I think he'll take his time. He'll make a decision if he wants to stay there.
He wouldn't retire based off being upset. He would retire based off of not wanting to relocate his family.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
to
being upset and having to do all that. Like,
he either wanted to stay. Yeah, he wanted to stay in Vegas, or he mentioned he wanted to go to Pittsburgh because he was a kid. He grew up in Pittsburgh, so him and his wife. That's where he met his wife.
I don't know what he did to Vegas. Like, did he like, I don't know, piss in their coffee every morning or something? Like, what did this guy do?
I just think he's
the nicest damn person in the world, in the face of the earth. And
I mean, he endured the whole thing with what his agent did last year with that picture he showed with the sword going through his back. Like, that wasn't Fleury's idea. He had nothing to do with that, and he was on the wrong end of that entire
wrong end of everything that's happened.
But he endured that with like a gentleman, with a smile on his face. The whole league loves him. All the refs love him. You see all the refs coming over; they're all laughing with him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to dwell on this Vegas thing because I'm not happy with them whatsoever. But again, hopefully, according to this Athletic writer, I hope that it happens.
Yep.
And I hope it's reasonable.
The Bruins with a lot of good moves. We talked about Olmark, but they also got Nick Foligno. Not one of the good moves, but
solid.
I liked Eric Holla for
a
2 years.
Solid signing.
Yeah, but $3.8 million. I thought maybe they're a little cheaper than that, but. Eric Holla, the 2 by 2.375. They got Tomas Nosek for 2 years. They get Mike Riley, who re-signs, and then they also signed Derek Forbert.
Depth pieces.
I know they were looking to upgrade on. They were looking to upgrade on defense, and I don't know that they did really. So that's one thing. But I do like their other, and Krejci. Obviously, they got to. I think they got to keep Krejci based on the.
You resigned almost Taylor Hall.
Yeah, and the chemistry that they had. Yeah, you can't.
But I mean, granted, you could probably get more somewhere else.
He wasn't having a great offensive year until Taylor Hall, and Taylor Hall was terrible on Buffalo. Came over, it rejuvenated both of them.
Yeah,
it depends on what what he's asking for too. Yeah. But I'd assume it wouldn't be enormous, but I guess you never
know. This was from Hurricanes GM Don Waddell. Did we think, and this was on D'Angelo, did we think that there was going to be some people not happy about this 100%? Did we make sure that we checked all boxes where we felt comfortable moving forward 100%? Time will tell, but we really feel that this is heading in a good direction. Don't think so.
Well, first of all, that's BS because didn't they only sign him to a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's BS right there.
Million.
If they signed him to like a 3 or 4 year deal, that would make sense. But it would also be much, much worse signing this frigging guy to a 3 or 4 year deal. But anyway, they gave him a 1-year deal. What the hell is he talking about?
I don't know.
You're just trying to catch lightning in a bottle, basically, and hopefully he has a good season like you did with the one with the Rangers.
Again, it's
another piece of shit guy. Yeah.
It's
all about performance,
character, and I don't know. I don't.
I'm sure his teammates are going to love him.
Canadians signed Mike Hoffman to a 3-year deal. The Flames signed Trevor Lewis.
One-dimensional.
He might be the least defensively skilled forward in the entire National Hockey League.
He has no defensive awareness
in the entire league
or anything.
The whole league.
But he can put the puck in the net.
I know somebody like that. I think we play with somebody like that.
I wonder who you're speaking of.
Tommy knows.
Thomas knows.
Apparently, Jack Eichel spent UFA Day 2021 in the Bruins.
I think.
Yeah, with the Bruins. McAvoy, Marchand, Torrey Krug, VC Grizzlick. So pretty good. Braden Point, Schwim, signed
Paid.
a monster.
He got paid, boy.
$9.5 million contract. It's going to start in 2022, 2023, so he has one more year left on that bridge deal. Whew, that is, I mean, so now between him,
that's a big sandwich right there.
and Hedman and
Kucherov
and
Point and
Stammer.
Vassie all make 9.5.
Yeah,
right?
they're all over 9.
I think they're all 9.5.
What does Stammer make? He's over 10, right?
No.
Now Stammer's
9?
Is he even at 9 or is he 8?
8.5.
I think he's 8 some.
So that'd be interesting to see how much money is tied between those 5 players. Because God, quite the
Hedman's a steal, first of all. So we can't even talk about his contract.
Yeah, Stamkos is 8.5. Kucherov is 9.5,
Yes.
and Vassie
Points 9.5.
9.5 also. Yep. Yeah, friggin' Hedman's under 8. Get the F out of here.
Yeah. Literally, get the F out of here.
I'm leaving. Okay, bye. I'm out of here.
Jarl Halak going to the Canucks for 1
Get
year.
back here, jerk.
Him and Thatcher Demko would be a pretty good tandem.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. Zach Hyman, we've talked about this a while. 7 years, $5.5 million AAV.
Don't even get me started on Edmonton. All right, I've had it with them. Can teams hire somebody like me to just be in their war room with them with a rolled up newspaper, and when they want to do stupid shit like they do, and just whack them right in the friggin' head? Like, what they did Hyman for 7 years, right? At $5.5 million.
They
or
were
something
going to
like
give him. They were going to. Well, if they gave him 8, it would be 5.
They re-signed Mike Smith, so their goaltending tandem is still Mike Smith and Koskinen, right? They haven't done anything else to free up that.
No, they have what's his name too.
Who they got?
Not Aaron Dell. They have they had one more goaltender. Not that he was good, but it was it's no one's goalie
That they just got, or he's been there.
He's been there, I think, for a year.
They didn't sign
right?
anybody.
Oh, well,
Alex Stalock.
Okay, irrelevant.
Not well.
And who's their decor now? They
signed Cody Ceci.
They have Ceci, who I saw that and I was like, holy crap!
4 years.
They re-signed Tyson Barrie to a 3-year contract.
Barrie, who's
power play specialist.
no defense. Again, no defense.
Clefbaum's probably done, right?
Probably he's done. Duncan Keith's friggin' 86 years old. He's got a great head of lettuce, though.
People are praising that trade. Like, they got the leadership of Duncan Keith.
Okay,
like,
great.
obviously, look at Chicago. His leadership.
I don't give a crap about leadership. You need guys who can play defense. That's your problem. You can score 6 goals a game, but you're letting up 7. Like, how are you going to beat teams? That doesn't work when you get to the playoffs. You can outscore teams in the regular season. Once you get to the playoffs, you are screwed.
I don't think the Cody Ceci contract is that bad. Because he was probably
it's bad.
He's
that
probably
is
Pittsburgh's
that's too much.
3.5.
That's too much. I'm sorry. For a guy who's even
he's a bottom pair.
He's a bottom pair D. He's not improving you need defense.
Well, yeah, he improves the defense, but that's about it. He's solid, and it depends on he had a. I mean, obviously. And now he's going to play in Canada, who he didn't have a whole lot of luck in Canada.
Edmonton. If you're watching our podcast and you want me to have a rolled up newspaper, I can be there. I will do it. I promise. I'll do it for free. You don't even have to pay me.
Nugent Hopkins got a giant contract too, previous to free agency.
Every team needs a shorts guy, e-bug, and me with a rolled up newspaper.
The goaltenders for the Maple Leafs, right? We have Peter Mrazek, who signed that 3-year deal. And then it was the other one for
Jack Campbell, right?
Jack Campbell. Yep, that's right. Let's see here. Alex Edler went to the Kings. Kings also get Deno for a big contract.
That was big,
yeah.
Which is a little crazy also, but
I think he's an outstanding third-line center, and he's getting way overpaid for a third-line center.
He's getting a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of these third-line guys are getting paid.
But I think he'll do good there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Selke contender.
On that team, too.
He's
playing with Andrzej Kopitar. Look at those two centers. Yeah, those two shut-down defensive centers.
Yeah.
Who's also awesome at faceoffs, Andrzej Kopitar.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a lot of money, and, good for him. He
cashed
found somebody
in.
to pay him that. And
they saw, his playoff performance, and he cashed in on it.
He's a good player.
Sharks get James Reimer and Nick Bonino. The Lightning upgrade. Yeah. The Lightning, one more thing, they upgrade their backup goaltending. Schwim, Brian Elliott.
By getting the basically the same backup goalie.
He
just by a different name.
Poor Brian Elliott.
He's not. You know what the best thing is though? He's not going to play that much. So it'll be all right.
They need him to do at least what McElhinney did, and
he's going to play the second half of back-to-backs.
He probably will,
and then never sniff the goaltending crease in the playoffs. And I'm fine with that.
And they needed a goaltender that they could you know,
Like,
an
I didn't-
experienced goaltender that they can
that's what I
play,
wanted.
pay league minimum.
Yeah, which
That's
they
the
did. I
need.
didn't want them calling up one of their young guys to just sit on the bench and not play the whole season. That'd be stupid. So you have to go sign a guy
They need
who's
to develop.
Yeah, like you can't have those kids.
And look at what these other goalies are signing for. None of them are signing for that little. So
I'm fine. I mean, am I crazy about it? Of course not. I don't want Brian Elliott.
Brian
but
Elliott's the next player T.
Whatever. If you get me a Brian Elliott player T,
I do like.
I will gladly.
Speaking
wear
of league minimum, that Bogosian signing is
That's
also
crazy.
pretty good.
That's 3 years. It's like
3 years at
crazy.
$850.
I'm glad. I like him. He was a good.
But I mean, he's nothing outstanding
he's
at
not
all.
great,
But like
for a bottom
$850, you
six,
got him
I'm
for
fine.
$850. He gives the
he was
the
the
toughness.
year that he was there, and he played good for them in the playoff run
he's
they had 2 years ago.
Certainly not terrible. I mean,
So,
he's
I'm
not
fine with that.
overpaid. You can't say he's overpaid.
Nope, not at all.
Jack Johnson made more than he did last season.
Freddie Gaudreau to the Wild.
He's just gonna avoid that.
Whatever.
Nothing.
I
Jack
heard
Johnson, name drop.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I heard it.
Can we go one podcast without mentioning Jack Johnson?
Nope.
Yeah, no.
What about
there was
Greg McKegg?
Greg McKegg, yeah. Well, let's talk about the Rangers signings then, because obviously we're going to.
They made some big splashes, Billy Dean.
Yeah, Jared Tenorti, who is the Tom Wilson deterrent. Let's just put that out there.
He's a big boy.
We have
all right.
Patrick Nemeth, not a bad sixth defenseman. I'll take that. Patrick Nemeth, 3 years.
Isn't he a monster too? Aren't they both like at least 6'5" or something?
6'3". Yeah, he's 6'3". Nemeth 6'3", and Tenorti's 6'6". And he has 2 fights against Tom Wilson in his career, so I guess that's the reason why they got him.
That's all they wanted to do.
Yeah. All we have to have is someone that can fight Tom Wilson, because that was what we needed.
Yes, because you play the Capitals every single game of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you play them 82 times.
Oh, man. And then who else did we sign? We signed a why am I forgetting who we signed? We signed a forward.
Dryden Hunt.
No,
name is Dryden.
Greg McKegg.
Yeah,
Dryden,
Greg McKegg, Dryden Hunt.
For a second stint, he was already there.
Yeah, no, we had him a couple years ago.
Yep.
And then I thought there was someone else. Why am I blanking on who they got today? Nick DeSimone was already happened. This is great podcasting right here.
I'm just waiting to get past the Rangers. So we can talk about something important.
Yeah, thank you.
We're doing some overtime right now.
Yeah, that was about it. Oh, yeah, we are doing overtime. 9:03. All right, couple. Did you have anything big? Montreal Savard, David Savard go to Montreal.
That's a good sign.
Jaden Schwartz to Seattle, also good. Brock McKinn to Pittsburgh, which I like. Not a terrible contract, but it's basically they lost Tanev. It's kind of their Tanev replacement, even though he's not really Tanev, which is why he's making less. And he's younger, which is okay, but help on the PK.
Yandel to the Flyers, who I guess he forgets that Alain Vigneault hated him when he played with him, so good for him.
He was like praising him when they were interviewing him, too.
I know. I don't know.
Because he has to say that.
And Carolina's stocking up on D. I feel like they have too many now, right?
Cedric Baguette.
Ian Cole also.
To Montreal.
I like Ian Cole.
Baguette,
pretty decent
your favorite.
My favorite. Schwim, can we trade Point to the Rangers now, since he's just signed that contract?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Welcome back to the National Hockey League, Chris Weidman. If nobody heard his story, really unfortunate. I won't get into it because it's kind of long, but look up his story. He had an unfortunate series of events, which I don't agree with any of it and why he became the fall guy. But
it was bad.
He ended up in the KHL last year, and he's back with Montreal. Hopefully, he can find a spot there too.
Ryan Suter, 4 years with Dallas. Blake Coleman, 6 years,
he got
$5
paid.
million from the Flames.
Jesus,
mm-hmm.
Good Lord, good for him.
That was.
You can't blame the players for taking that much money.
I don't blame him.
He just won 2 straight Stanley Cups. Go get paid.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
Steve, you were off. You weren't on this when I was talking to Schwim about this. Obviously, they traded Warren Fogle to the Edmonton for Ethan Bear. Warren Fogle was who they had lining up next to Leon Draisaitl on their depth chart. So
yeah,
that makes because they just traded for him. They got to put him on the second line. That makes zero sense. The guy's a friggin'
the Flames
the guy's a fourth liner.
The Flames actually made a lot of moves. They also traded for Nikita Zadorov. Sam Gagne re-signs with the Red Wings. Bottom 6 guys got paid a lot.
Red Wings just signed what's his face from Chicago, the rookie that was decent.
Yeah, Pius Suter.
Pius Suter.
Yeah,
that was
Pius
surprising.
Suter.
Good sign. Good
Yeah,
signing
that's a good
for them.
signing for
Pius
them.
Suter's solid.
And
Although I
then
still think
Detroit.
they're still going to be terrible.
I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think Calgary's going to be good.
Alec
Holtby
Martinez
to
resigns.
Dallas.
Yep.
David
Holtby to
Savard
Dallas.
to Montreal.
Yep.
Michael
Yep,
Granlund
said
back
that.
in Nashville.
Yep.
Travis Hamonic back in Vancouver. He's going to play, I guess. When the hell's the last time we saw him?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about
Been a
the Tyler Johnson trade going to Chicago
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
for the contract of
And a
Brett
second
GM of the year.
Yep.
GM of the year, Brisebois.
He really
Another.
is.
He got $10 million off the books.
Exploiting the hell out of these
Yeah.
rules. Why does anybody else do it? The
Chicago
irony
did
of
him
it
a
all.
favor, or they didn't know.
And the
I don't
irony
know.
of it all is that
Thanks.
like they were the only team to like protest against what Chicago was doing in 2015.
yes.
now look.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only team out of all the teams.
Brisebois wasn't the GM then. He was like
Yeah.
assistant GM, all right? So now he's.
Uh,
They're all okay with it.
Line got that 1-year contract. Nate Schmidt to Winnipeg. Obviously, Getzlaff resigns. Henrik Lundqvist is in UFA, and they're not sure if he's going to play this year.
He's probably not.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all
Pittsburgh
we got.
had one other signing there, William
Go
Dean.
ahead.
It was your
Somebody have a
boy.
note?
I got to find the name because I already forget. There it is.
Dylan McElrath?
Lindbergh from UMass. Philip Lindbergh.
Is that the goalie?
Yep.
Yeah.
The goalie, the UMass
yeah,
goalie
yeah.
that led them to the national
Yeah.
championship has signed
Yeah.
with
Start
the
him.
Pittsburgh Penguins. So
I hope
their
he sucks.
depth
I really hope
goalie.
he sucks.
See that? You turned on you
Wow.
already.
Yep, I turned on him already. He left UMass. I'm like, F you.
What a jerk.
I don't know. Is there anything other signings you guys have? Carter Verhaeghe, 3 years, 4.2 from Florida.
Any late ones coming today?
Pittsburgh signed Fadoon. That's
Taylor?
Ooh,
exciting. More
Fadoon.
depth. League minimum. 2-way contract. You know what I learned? I thought 2-way contract meant that they could be sent down
Go
without.
up and down.
But it's not the case. Some of them, it depends on the player and the contract.
Yeah,
that they
it can still go
would
through
have to
waivers.
go through waivers. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I
agree.
learned something today.
All right, so one trivia question before we do leave. Which goalie played in an amazing 502 consecutive complete games? Even though most goalies do complete games anyway, but yeah. 502 consecutive complete games.
Consecutive games?
Yes.
I don't even know.
Glenn Hall.
Yep.
What I miss?
That's fantastic. There's a Simpsons reference to Vanacek
Yeah.
being traded.
And it's
cool.
wonderful.
It's pretty fantastic.
Dmitry Kulikov, 2 years, 4.5 from Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently Glenn Hall did not miss a start between 1955 to 1956 to early in the 62-63 seasons. 7 straight years. He did not
That's
miss
nuts.
a start. What former number 1 draft pick was traded straight up for the number 2 overall pick, Wade Redden? It was a trade between Ottawa and the Islanders. Number 1 overall pick was
Chara?
traded for number 2 overall
No,
pick,
Chara
Wade
wasn't
Redden.
number 1.
No,
Who the
not
heck was
one.
the number 1?
Double B.
Who was number 1? Double B?
That's what I'm. Yeah, Double B is his
Berard?
initials. Brian Berard,
Brian
number
Brown.
1 overall pick. Yep. What is Schwim saying? My wife has left me another man.
What did I say?
Dragon.
I don't remember saying that.
After the fight, the camera zooms in on Chris Nealon's hands, and Don Cherry remarks, "Check those knuckles, folks. That's not from playing the..." What?
Harp?
The piano.
Close.
All right,
right.
boys. Bistro 4.
3-5. Solid.
I'll be nice and give this a 3-5.
3-5.
Why not?
Nice.
Look at me.
All
It
right,
wasn't that
Shrimp,
great.
take her home.
Bye.
Son of a...